One of the questions I get asked a lot with the war within cartoon that I do on YouTube is how I'm able to actually animate it. How I'm able to take comic book strips and actually turn them into something that looks like a cartoon. Well, what I do is I take scans of the comic book. I do have the comic book itself, but I do get a scan for the comic book so that I can open it up. And as you see, first what I did was I broke it down into its component parts to make it easier to work with. And then I take each scene, and I first go in and digitally remove all the little dialogue boxes. And the way I do that is through the cloning tool that's used through Photoshop. On Photoshop, they have something that will let you clone a spot with a little button, and then you just kind of paste it, like I'm doing here, to try to figure out what might be behind it. Now, this does not actually erase it. I'm actually having to put what I think might be there. As you can see, like I'm taking that line that was over here and stretching it over to here. And sometimes, I get it a little bit, and sometimes, it might be a little bit off, and kind of have to figure it out, fix it, so it looks normal. There's no way of knowing exactly what would exactly look behind, but I can use like sort of a rough guesstimate, of doing it. Say, okay, well this yellow line's up here, so I know it's going to continue on to up here, and this little thing's over here, and so on and so forth. And I might go back and say, I want to pare that down a little bit. Alright, and we're going to do the same thing over here. This one will be a little bit quicker, because really not a lot that can be behind there other than gray, right? So just go in there and go zip, 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 copy, 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 and so on and so forth. I'm actually not very good at drawing itself. Drawing, something I've, looks moderately well when I do it, but not all that great. So I just copy what other people use. Now, the next thing is I want this hand to move. In this scene, it looks like this hand is coming out from underneath. So I'm going to copy and paste it so it becomes a layer. You see, I've got a separate little layer here. Unfortunately, when I copy it as a layer, I get all this other stuff. And so I've got to go in and actually delete it with my eraser tool. And I go around like here, and go all around, zip, 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 and slowly trim off the parts that I don't need. Be a lot of little niggling little red bits and blue bits of Optimus Prime behind here, and little bits of scenery that I've got to get rid of. So that, there we go, I have a layer all by itself. And on the background that I just had, since I've got a layer of the hand, now I've got to figure out what's going to go behind the hand. So again, I use my little clone tool to kind of copy what the background looks like, right? And go all through here, and so on and so forth, getting rid of it all. But you notice there's a little bit of a problem. We have Optimus, and we have an arm in the background, but we don't have an arm to go between it. And we're kind of missing some body parts. So rather than try to draw it all out myself, I'm going to find another Optimus Prime and copy bits from him. And say, okay, well, I want a little bit of over here. So we're going to take this Optimus and knock out these parts right here, because I've already got Optimus's head and all that. What I just need is his body and arm here. So I'm going to take parts from here, get rid of what's over here, and so on and so forth. It's a little bit dark here, but we're going to lighten it up in just a little bit. Go like this, and try to see if we can't maneuver it and alter it and scrunch it around until it gets to something that looks like it might fit. And there's a little tool that will let you warp things. Now that's what I'm doing here. I'm warping it until it gets to something that might look kind of like it. I don't have to get it too exact because this arm is going to be coming up out of it. You see here I'm lightening it so it looks a little bit closer to the color that's being used here. But I just have to get it so there's something behind there so that it looks more natural when the video is going. Okay, we're gonna just jump ahead a little bit here so this video isn't too long. So hold on. And through the magic of video editing, we've moved a little bit further ahead. I grabbed an arm from someplace else there, from another Optimus, to kind of fill in. But in order to make this hand look a little bit more natural, we're going to fill in the hand a little bit more. We're going to clone this finger so that we have another finger. And as you can see, I'm kind of turning it a little bit so that it looks like we have a little bit more of a hand. And again, erasing the little bits that might be around it. And past that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try doing some movement. So again, let's skip ahead, and we're going to look at how to make Optimus Prime's mouth move. Okay, so again, we're going to clone the little mouth plate here. We've got the mouth plate all centered out, and we're going to erase what's around it so that we have just a mouth plate. It can go up and down, right? Get all these little bits around it so they don't show up here. And using the animation tool, I can make like a second little thing here and then move it down. And you see, by doing that, I'm able to make the mouth move. But we don't want that mouth looking unnatural, so I'm going to put something so that mouth goes behind it. Make another layer so that mouth there will go behind there. But if you notice up top, you can still kind of see the little top layer, like where the eyes are. So I've got to kind of fill in a little bit as far as what's going to look behind that little thing there, so that I have to kind of extend his nose out a little bit, extend of what's out there. You might not be able to see it there, but you know, and probably in the cartoon itself, you probably won't notice all that, but I'll know it's there. So by doing this, I can say, okay, well, I know that it'll look a little bit more natural now. Okay, so by doing that, able to make his mouth move. And as you can no doubt guess, the other thing that's going to be moving in here is going to be that arm. So let's go have a look at that next. Okay, so we got this hand, and I could do like we did before there with like little 6 things there, right? Where all I'm doing is just moving that arm up. And as I see it, I see, well, I need a little bit more of that hand there, so I'm kind of filling that in a little bit, and kind of filling that in, so that when we do it, as you can see, that hand will kind of shoot up. But we're going to use a little bit more than just 6 frames when we do it. I'm going to make this like about 30 frames in between. So we put like a 1 here and then another 1 in between, and get it so that there are a lot of frames. What I'm doing here is I'm actually making the hand itself transparent, and I'm also making it glow a little bit in the final version here, because it is supposed to be more of a ghostly hand. So as you see, now we have all these different frames in between, and although it's going slow there, in the final version it'll go a lot faster. Alright, now what I've done here is opened up another program called Vegas, Sony Vegas, and I've got those same slides that we just created, and I'm making them into a video file, trying to find a place to put them. And then once I've got a video file made, then I can go in and edit the video. And what I'm doing is I'm cropping it so that like during the video here, not only will I have movement of what I've got animated, but also I'm going to have movement as far as it sliding there as well, to also give a little bit of interest. So let's see how it turned out.
You are not alone.
After this, I would still have background sounds and music to put in, But that's for another day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye bye.